Hi, welcome back to the Gazelle Lab. This is Anthony. Today we have two of the best Android devices on the market with the Galaxy Nexus, the Samsung Galaxy Nexus, and the HTC Amaze. This Galaxy Nexus is the unlocked GSM version, not the Verizon version, and the HTC Amaze is on T-Mobile, which I have reviewed in the past. So let's get straight into this review. Let's start with dimensions, overall dimensions on the devices. You can tell the monster screen on the Galaxy Nexus compared to the QHD display on the Amaze. This is one of the best displays on the Galaxy Nexus in the industry right now. It does have a super AMOLED screen, 16 million colors, 720 by 1280, 4.65, that's right here, going this way. Very bright, 316 ppi in comparison to the super LCD on the HTC Amaze, which is, like I said before, QHD. That's 540 by 960, 4.3 inches at 256 ppi. So they're both very nice, but some I think of 4.65 is a little too big. It did take me a while to get used to, but once you start using it, it's very nice. So we can start looking at the dimensions right now. Here's a little profile. On the side, we have 135 millimeters by 67 by only 9 millimeters thin on the Galaxy. It's actually 8.9 millimeters. The GSM version is supposed to be thinner than the Verizon version. On the Amaze right here, this is still pretty thin at 11.8 millimeters, and this is 130 tall by 66 wide. So you can take a look at it. This is the Galaxy Nexus. I think is one of the nicest designs for a cell phone these days. Let's get a look at the backs on these things. 5 megapixel camera on the Nexus compared to the 8. Single LED flash, dual LED flash, speaker here, speaker on the bottom here. We can look at the bottom ports real quick. So we do have the power, the micro USB, and the 3.5 jack on the bottom of the Nexus, and just the removal of the back cover for the Amaze. So let me get back here one second. Okay, so then let's get to the top of the device. This on the Galaxy Nexus, you really don't see anything. You do have the 3.5 jack and the classic power button on the Amaze. And then on the other side, you have the charging port, micro USB on the Amaze. And then over here, you have the power lock screen button and the 3. I guess this is for a card dock, just like the other Galaxies had, the Nexus lines had. Let's get into the build quality real quick. I know this is Google's top phone, and it does feature Android 4.0, but like all Samsungs, it does feel kind of cheap compared to HTC devices. Like, for example, we can look at just the back cover, how it comes off, and it's very solid. And then I'm not even going to attempt to take this back cover off. It's flimsy plastic. It's very hard to get back on. It feels kind of like you're going to break it. So just for whatever this thing is, $700, or the top Nexus Galaxy phone, you would picture something a little bit more sturdy and a little bit more like just better quality, overall build quality. Let me just slide this back on real quick and get back into the review. So I still love build quality on HTC phones a lot better than Samsung devices. So when continuing with the review, this does have I believe 1 gigabyte of RAM on both devices, 16 gigabytes of storage on each device. HSDPA, you will get 21 megabytes per second with the Galaxy Nexus, and on the Amaze you will get the new the 42 megabytes per second on their HSPA Plus network, which is nice. This does support T-Mobile's network in the US, so you have 1700 on there if you're a T-Mobile user and you want to use this, which is great for myself. We can get into the cameras real quick. In terms of imaging, the Amaze I think still has a better camera, so we can take a little quick shot. Like I said, this is still one of the best camera phones around. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, the Galaxy Nexus the camera is not that great. You know, the pictures do look great on the screen, but then once I moved them over to my PC, they weren't that great. It is only a 5 megapixel camera, so we can take a look at these side by side. So from here you can't tell that much, but once these things go on your computer, you can tell the clarity is really great on the Amaze. In terms of the front camera, it's a 2 megapixel on the Amaze, and it's a 1.3 on the Galaxy Nexus. Uh, Accelerometer, gyroscope, they're all there, the classic features. In terms of the processor, we have the dual-core TI OMAP 4480 dual-core 1.2 Cortex on the Samsung, and the Amaze is using the Snapdragon, the S3. It's the 1.5 dual-core chip. Uh, Honestly, they're both very snappy, very peppy. Perhaps maybe the Amaze is a tad bit quicker at times, but with the Sense UI, you really cannot tell. The Sense UI does slow it down a little, but in terms of battery life, this is where the two phones make up my purchasing decision. The battery life on the Galaxy Nexus is amazing compared to the Amaze. It can last all day pretty much without a charge, even when I'm on 3G. In the Amaze, it still needs constant charging, at least 2 times a day I'm charging this thing. So overall, they're both good phones. I really don't want to get into some of the features of Ice Cream Sandwich because that's kind of a separate review. But one thing I do like on the Galaxy Nexus is this ability to do folders. So you can see everything is Google in one folder. And the menu's very clean, very simple. And one of my favorite features is the drop down the notifications. You can just pull to the side to get rid of notifications. Very similar experience to like a honeycomb tablet, which is very nice. I'm still a fan of Sense UI. I think both phones are great. If you're a fan if you want Ice Cream Sandwich and you can deal with the big enough screen, the big screen, go with the Galaxy Nexus. If 4.3 is even kind of big for you, you're a fan of Sense UI. HTC Amaze is great. So there you have it. 2 of the best Android devices out right now. Like I said, I like both devices. Currently, I'm using the Nexus, but I do often switch back to the Amaze. I hope you enjoyed the review. I'll check you back next time.